I saw the sign, and it opened up my eyes because it looks bright. The new sign planned for DIA will also light up with ads. I saw the sign, the one changing the way people in Denver will use bathrooms. But don't expect a fight like in other states. Life is demanding without understanding, and many don't understand why CDOT's demanding more of all of us who use the HOV lanes. Listen, no one's going to drag you up to get into the light where you belong, like the 90-year-old we're celebrating for another year at work. But where do you belong? Right here, because all that is next. I'm going to say something, but I can't have anyone freak out, all right? Gender-neutral bathrooms. Denver's getting them. But this isn't going to cause a statewide fight like they had in North Carolina. The change in Denver only applies to single-stall bathrooms. No one's sharing bathrooms. So let your guard down and put the seat down, gentlemen, because a lady could be the next in line, like our Victoria Sanchez.
What's in a name? That which we call a bathroom, restroom, washroom, lavatory, toilet, by any other name would smell just as bad. But it's not the name getting a change, it's what's on the door.
I think there's a lot of power behind that sign.
Denver City Council voted unanimously to do away with gender-specific signs for all single-stall bathrooms.
These are bathrooms that have a toilet, a sink, you can walk in, you can lock the door, you're the only person in there.
That means if there's someone sitting next to you, there will be no change in there. It's a simple sign swap, but will give you more options on where you go. In public places like coffee shops or gas stations, if there is only one restroom, it already is marked as gender neutral. But if there are two single-stall restrooms, the Denver ordinance stated one must be marked male and the other female. Well, that's no longer the case.
It's really a simple fix, but I think what's most important is that it has some big impacts.
Daniel Ramos is with One Colorado, an advocacy organization. He says the bathroom sign topic first came up in Denver's LGBTQ commission, but will have a wide reach to different communities.
Folks living with disabilities, caregivers for the elderly or for children, but also for transgender people. And I think anyone that simply wants to use a bathroom.
Maybe making it easier for dads with daughters, mothers with sons, or someone who just really needs to go. So what will the new signs look like? Let your imagination run wild.
As long as when I walk up to that, no matter who I am, I understand that there's a toilet in there, and if I need a toilet, I can use it, then we left it open to how people sign.
For Next, I'm Victoria Sanchez.
So these new signs are required in new construction in the city, effective immediately. Existing businesses have until May 2018 to change their signs. So the airport is getting this enormous new welcome sign. It's a long, winding ribbon of LED lights and screens. Now that is all over the news today. What is not on the news so much is that the sign is actually an enormous new light-up billboard for various advertisers. It's only going to display an airport welcome sign about 10% of the time. Not to say that this won't be sweet looking. It's about 900 light-up poles strung along a stretch of Pena Boulevard, interspersed with these screens that are 16 feet tall, 48 feet long. What's actually going to appear on those screens is laid out in a deal between the airport and Panasonic, which is delivering the sign, and Panasonic's collecting most of the ad revenue in return, 57%. The airport will chip in $7 million, which it expects to make back about halfway through the 16-year deal, at which point the big new sign becomes a moneymaker for the airport. About 90% of what you will see on the screens will be ads, but the airport can post emergency alerts whenever needed. Call me old-fashioned, but for all of Lucifer's flaws, when I pass the neon blue demon horse on the way to and from DIA, it's not trying to sell me anything. It just stares deeply into my soul with its glowing red eyes. So while I look forward to seeing the huge new light-up ads at the airport next year, it'll be good to fall into the familiar icy embrace of the demon horse, just a bit down the road. Frontier Airlines is building an impressive luggage sculpture out at the airport, which we at Next have taken to calling Frontier Has Baggage Too. Frontier first carefully separates passengers from their possessions by running 80% of its flights delayed since Friday and canceling 300 of them. Frontier's luggage sculpture is being chipped away at piece by employees who are arranging to have those bags delivered to homes, 200 or so of them today. Frontier could actually build an even larger sculpture of stranded passengers if it wanted. Some passengers are being told they won't be able to fly out of town until after Christmas. Frontier insists it did not have an employee walkout, just that workers had trouble getting in due to the weather over the weekend. We should mention Frontier CEO has an open invitation to appear here on Next to talk about the Hometown Airlines struggles and how he plans to improve its customer service. So let's instead talk about something that is working like a charm today. No, really, come on now, give it up for the A-Line, which is running and on time today, taking passengers to and from the airport. Lovely ride out if you want to see Frontier's luggage sculpture. How's everyone coming on finding a new friend? We've been warning you, CDOT's going to require all of us to have another friend to travel in the HOV lane starting January 1st. 3 is the new 2. If you're thinking CDOT will raise a lot of revenue by increasing HOV requirements, then you are right on the money. The increased HOV passenger requirement applies to the US 36 and the I-25 express lanes. Now, the thing that you have to remember here is that CDOT and its private business partners have a goal on how quickly to move traffic in those HOV lanes. They don't want you just sitting in traffic in the express lane. So if there are too many people using them, it's actually viewed as a bad thing. A Next viewer, Mary Wilkerson, asked a good question. What if you only have a 2-seat car? What kind of fancy car you drive, Mary? She wondered if she could get maybe a roof rack for the third person. Well, either strap your new friend to the roof or pay up, Mary. There's no express lane exception to the 3-person rule for 2-seat cars. Tonight we have an update on one of the most talked about stories ever aired on Next. The woman who could not afford to pay the taxes after she won a house. Turns out she ended up in a good spot. Jeremy Hohola explains what happened.
For Crystal Tanner, who suffers with a brain disease that affects her movement, it was a big win, so out of reach.
Just really depressing.
That was 2 months ago when we told you how Crystal won the St. Jude Dream Home in Aurora. She spent $5,000 on 50 raffle tickets.
Too many and maxed out my credit card.
And when she won, she couldn't get the house because St. Jude was demanding a $180,000 tax payment before it would sign the home over.
And now I've just been really depressed, taking out little by little.
After we shared Crystal's story, numerous 9 News viewers offered to help. One family who wants to remain anonymous loaned her the cash for the tax payment. Crystal got the dream home, sold it, paid the money back, and made out with a couple $100,000.
I'm so happy it worked out.
She plans to use the money to fix up her current house, to widen the doors, and to make life easier.
It's gonna be so nice when it's fixed up.
At first, we called this story an unfortunate fortune. We're happy to take that back.
I love all 9 News viewers. Thank you for the support.
Jeremy Hohola, 9 News.
And Crystal says she's not disappointed that she didn't end up with the dream house. It turns out that the family that bought it has a child living with a disability. The size of the house is going to make a lot of difference for them as well. Next, navigating the shark-infested waters of holiday conversations with your family. We'll turn back the clock to visit the beers of Pickletown and look to the future with a 90-year-old who keeps on working. Thursdays, we kick it old school on Next. We're off again on Thursday of this week to make room for NFL football, but you've told us that you enjoy a little bit of history each week, so we will call this Throwback Tuesday. Take me down to Pickletown, where this photo shows the Beers family playing in the snow nearly 120 years ago. Pickletown wasn't a real town, but it was a real community. It was near modern-day Littleton on Pennsylvania Street, south of Orchard Road. They called it Pickletown because apparently early on people in the area grew cucumbers. William Beers and his family of 5 daughters were some of the first in Pickletown.
Brings back memories from the weekend. While pushing forward, we're actually going to see more mild temperatures. Kind of a boring forecast for you here in Denver over the next couple of days. Partly cloudy skies covering the city tonight and some gusty winds as well. Those wind gusts continue overnight tonight and into tomorrow morning for our foothills. Those gusts between 40 and 50 miles per hour. Once we see the cold front move through, winds will shift to the north and calm down by Wednesday evening. It also means a little bit of a cool off for us and maybe a chance for some light snow. If you see it, it'll be in the form of some flurries just north of the Denver metro area, and that will happen Wednesday evening. We'll see some heavier snow in our foothills, stretching from Estes Park down to about Idaho Springs. Lows tonight will dip into the middle and upper 20s, 27 for Denver, 23 Greeley, 26 for Fort Collins, then 43 tomorrow. Highs tomorrow a little bit cooler than what we saw today, and you can see we climb all the way to Saturday, Sunday, Christmas Day. Yep. A chance for snow here in Denver, but definitely up in the mountains. Kyle, highs are going to be back in the 30s, and it'll look awfully festive around here.
Oh, you said that was boring, but I thought it was just fine. All right, Becky Teachfield, thank you. For 28 years, she's been working at the same bank. Quite an accomplishment, especially considering it's her first job and one that she came to at an age when some people are retiring. Now she's 90 and plans to keep on working.
If he has any questions, you can give me a call today.
It was a change for me. Dress up every day and go to work. But I loved it. I've loved it since day one. My name is Joanne Dobson. Everybody calls me Joe. You suppose it's safe to have a cup of coffee or something? I've been here at the bank for 28 years. Different personnel, I guess, is the biggest thing.
I've been here since August 1st.
Going a month now.
I've been working here for just shy of a year.
Some stay a while and move on. Some stay for a long, long time and quit. That was my first job. Raised 7 children. Then my husband retired, and we didn't have medical insurance. So they advertised for a receptionist here, and I came down and applied and got it.
What should you know about Joe?
Oh my goodness.
We do have a customer that comes in just to say hello to her.
Everybody knows her. She's kind of our foundation here.
She's the first person every customer looks for when they walk through the door.
All right, bye-bye.
And the last person they say hi to as they leave.
I think the most important thing to keep customers is customer service.
She's a character.
I tell you, Jared, it's hell being a celeb.
She's a character.
It's not just an employee, she's like a mother to us, you know. She
My family's all grown up and left and out of town, and oh, here he comes. Here he comes. So this has really become my family.
She honestly reminds me a lot of my grandmother, who's not here anymore. So Joe's very special to me.
I am surprised I've lived this long. This is a very happy time in my life.
Yeah, Miss Joe is definitely very important to a lot of us here.
It's a good feeling, part of a family. It means everything. It really does, means everything.
Next, save the mugshot parade for another newscast. We have people caught doing good in our community. Also, How Not to Be a Jerk by Dr. Max Wachtel, and celebrating your imperfectly perfect holiday traditions with a Christmas decoration that was born this way. Thankful. Not the first word that comes to mind following a house fire. It is the first word for the Fisser family. They were not at their home in Commerce City at the time of the fire, and their girls weren't either. And that house fire connected them with a generous firefighter and his friends. It was a week ago when the Fissers lost nearly everything that they owned in the fire, and their 3 dogs died as well. When their situation made the news, a firefighter who didn't respond to that particular call, a firefighter from Aurora, felt compelled to help, and he rallied his neighbors to respond.
I'm a Christmas fanatic. I love it, and I couldn't imagine me going without Christmas gifts for my family and my little girl and having her whole Christmas kind of squashed.
It's changed my life, changed my view on things. It's just been amazing. Our friends, our family, people we don't know, our church has been amazing. It just restores my faith in humanity.
Officers received 2 truckloads of gifts this afternoon. They're staying with family for the holidays. They tell us they plan to repair their home and move back to Commerce City. You know, downtown parking enforcement officers get a real bum rap. They're just out there doing their jobs, and they're also doing things like this even when they're not caught on camera, helping an older woman navigate out of her car after the weekend snow. We stepped up and said, hey, let's get a name for that officer. A next shout out tonight to Kayla Martinez, who did not offer a ticket in that occasion, but rather a helping hand and got caught doing good. We're missing our buddy Steve Stager this week. He's spending some time with his family for the holidays. But before he left, he got some advice from Dr. Max that we could all use this time of year. How to talk about touchy subjects with family without being a jerk, even when they deserve it.
Dr. Max, I think a lot of people are going to travel for Christmas this time around. And we've talked before about how you handle those family differences at the Thanksgiving table. But I think a lot of people are going to be in the situation where they're stuck in someone's house for about a week. This is as close to a house as we could find. You know, this is what most people's living rooms must look
It feels
like.
very homey.
Yeah. So how do you survive?
Yeah, because you know the Thanksgiving is like amateur hour because you can leave after 6 hours. It takes a real professional to avoid becoming a complete nightmare scenario when you are spending a lot of time with your loved ones. So here's what you do. Don't engage. You're going to want to say something. You know, we all have political opinions. We all have religious opinions. We all have opinions about money. Just keep your mouth shut. Don't say it. And we're going to have those jerks who are stuck in the condo with us who are going to be saying things, and you don't respond. You have to be the bigger person. And what ends up happening then is that they kind of stop making comments because they aren't getting the rise out of people that they want.
So they're not necessarily just saying it to get their opinion out there. They're saying it to try to get a rise out of you.
A lot of times that is what's going on. They know that maybe they are in the minority and want to get a rise out of everybody else in the room, or they know that this one person is the only one who has a different opinion than everybody else, and they want to get a rise out of that one person. You have to ignore that.
Do I just sit there and say nothing?
You can sit there and say nothing. You can get up and go for a walk. You can watch a movie with your kids or with the people who are being cool. You can also say something like, I respect your opinion. I'm glad you feel able to share that with me and that you're willing to share that with me. I just don't want to talk about it because it's going to cause an argument.
Surviving the holidays with Dr. Max Wachtel.
Yeah.
We appreciate having you around for advice like this.
Thank you very much, and again, good luck.
Thank you.
I like Steve's jeans. Those are trendy. I should get some of those. Ads around the holidays usually show these perfect-looking families gather around perfect-looking dinner tables, perfectly placed decorations adorning the home. Who are those people? Have they met our families? The holidays aren't perfect, but they're real. And each night on Next, we're reminding you that it is the thought that counts. And this photo came to us from Rich Horn with the caption, "You had one job." It is a snowman that sits inside the Missions Hills Church in Littleton. I am going to be bummed beyond belief if we cannot show you this photo. Please tell me we have it. There he is. That is Frosty, who was born this way, right out of the box, with his head stuck on upside down. A mistake at the factory that could not be undone there. But the church decided to keep him rather than return him to the store. And Rich says it fits the church's message of the holidays. Christmas as is, not perfect. The 90-year-old bank employee we met earlier returns with some words for me, apparently. And your words about gender-neutral bathrooms, the sign you saw tucked into the beginning of Next tonight, and the jacket that you would like to see tucked away for good.
It's a new program with Kyle.
And what's different than a traditional newscast?
Because he says what he wants to and wears dumb jackets, and it's just something different. Stop it, Ori.
Joe Dobson, the 90-year-old bank employee we met earlier in the newscast. They didn't let me see that until then. Joe doesn't like my dumb jackets. That's interesting. Neither does Christopher Mills, who writes, "I typically defend your jackets to my wife. I have no defense tonight." Dave Clark got what we were putting down. Seriously, Ace of Base references. Sad that I knew that. And that Micah guy says, "Gender-neutral bathrooms. Have you seen..."